Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello, my lovelies, my royalty, and everybody. Oh, I hope you are enjoying yourself. Let's just make sure you have something boiling hot or freezing cold to sip on while I express my tea today. But okay, yeah, we're getting back to gray sheep combination with religion, and oh yeah. Oh, some people hate when I talk religion because it's just if the a lot of the Republicans are Christian, and I am a Christian, but Democrat progressive. And it's crazy when I say that I'm Christian and I vote on the left. Many Republicans tell me I should be ashamed of myself, or that doesn't exist, or I must be aligning with Satan and stupid, idiotic, just because. And it's really funny because they want to say the left just follows, they don't have their own thoughts, they don't have their own, but then, like, majority of them, especially the MAGA, they have the same thoughts of the Bible. It's like some of the pastors out there are telling their congregations to be okay with slavery because it's in the Bible. So now their congregation, parts of them are agreeing. Some of these Republican influencers are now saying that since Mary was at what age in a virgin when she had her baby, so that means that you men today should be allowed to impregnate the girls, and I repeat, girls of the same age. Yeah. And now, like, at first, Republicans were like, yeah, we want to find, like, who's on the Epstein list and all this other stuff, but no, no, no. It's been diluting on their side. I, I, I don't even hear the whispers on their side anymore. And especially when things started coming out that ta-da! It might be their orange. Him. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, they don't want to bring that up anymore, or they want to twist and turn and be like, well, they're not. It's not. It's like in the definition and this word and that, and let's turn this around. And if I was a man, and maybe we should just change the laws, and we should do this and that, and it's like women are more mature anyway. Like, I am hearing anything and everything, and it's pretty disgusting and ridiculous and awful and terrible. And I am seeing more of a trend of a lot of these Republican men basically proving that they just want to own a woman. They don't want to love, they want to own a woman. And part of that is because in the church, it's like, especially, like, I've said it so many episodes, but I will never forget. You know what? Yeah, I was gonna talk about that Drewski thing, but yeah, no, no, okay. I'm gonna talk about that probably the next episode because, yeah. This has just been on my mind quite a lot lately, especially when it comes to dating, and then, like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna say all my business and everything, but I did hint a few episodes ago that, yeah, I'm no longer single. Ha ha. And so, but yeah, and let's just say, learning about him, and while learning about him, I'm learning about myself. And while learning about myself, I'm seeing some of the great qualities that men can have and that some men have that I have never seen before. And yeah, it's amazing. So soon, it's like, well, I might be having dating dreams instead of nightmares here and there. Just even talking about, especially coming from a black female with a disability, like some of the hardships, some of the things, and the like, especially when it comes to disability history, African American history, and all of these other things. So yeah, it's gonna get interesting. So, but okay, back to it. Back it up. Oh, like my pastor during like after his divorce, and he was back in the dating field for like I think before he announced the divorce, he had this whole marriage counseling, blah blah blah, whatever. And I think that was like kind of near the beginning of COVID when the churches had to shut down and do everything electronically or whatever. But then later on, like after COVID, once churches can come back together, he did another one. But this time, I think he just married. Like, and this was quick. Like he was dating and then he was married. I was like, hold on, he's already. I mean, none of my business, none of my business. But with one of the sermons, he was saying what men want it from women and what women want from men, and what women wanted from men, it was, you know, kind of logic. It was more logical. Every single thing, well, except okay, the list for men just sounded so toxic and so in a way of having ownership, because like one of the things or items was that she reads books or she's well read, but our pastor made sure to change that. And because he called it the three B's, and the this one was books, but he said but only the Bible. A man would only care about that you know the Bible. I'm not your girl with that one. It's like I read it here and there, kind of, but I love being well read in different subjects and topics, and understanding even the science and the history and things. And when I talk to a lot of religious people, I remember talking to one not too long ago, and they were agreeing with that one rapper who said, we don't need to know how to read. We need to be financially literate, but we don't need to know how to read. Mm. But then I was trying to explain to this person why, we, and that this person isn't even the only one. It happened a couple of times, and it was kind of scary because each time it's by a man. And but then society and a lot of the country hate that black women are the most educated demographic. But listen to what a lot of these men are saying. But then at the same time, they want to be our leader, and that some of them can't even read. Mm. It's like, because I'm a sapiosexual, I love an educated man. I love being able to talk to someone, dive into different subjects, and it's like even hearing about what they nerd about, so then I can learn, observe, and obtain even information from them, and I hope vice versa, whatever. And watch documentaries, all that, read. I want to actually I was going to do an episode, like, especially talking about this specific subject with the whole you don't have to read or whatever, because Cancer Society, they're going to be doing a readathon, and so I want to do a whole episode on some interesting or good books that we could all read throughout the month or whatever. And well, the guy that I'm seeing is like, I showed him one of the videos of like someone was talking about some of the books that I've never even heard of, and some of them like just seemed so enlightening. And and I was already doing research on what books do I want to read for this, because I really want to get involved in stuff. And he was like, oh, do you want to read one together? Do you know how hot that is? Okay, like to me that, like, because I've asked different guys before, oh, maybe we can find a book and read it together. Oh, you're a square, you're a nerd. It's like, it's like, I don't want to talk about a book. Why am I gonna read? That's so stupid. It's like we could just Netflix and chill. But then they wonder why I lose all interest in them. And majority of them are broke, and like a lot of them either education wise, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so when my pastor said this whole thing about books, but as in books, only the Bible, I'm like, but then the other ones were body parts. It's like the behind and the bosoms, and it was like, okay, um, okay, um, good to know, good to know. And but with women, it was more like security and like financial, emotional, everything like that, and like things that were more like making sure a woman felt safe. And don't get me wrong, it's like I keep hearing songs where, or like women talk about how they want a guy who's at least 6 feet tall and six figure like salary and all this other stuff, whatever. I'm like, you know what? It would be nice because then you're not stressing out. Because I'm a budgeter, so I would make sure that money lasts. I would make sure that some money gets invested. So if there was ever an emergency, I'd be like, yeah, we okay, baby. Look, look, look. Yeah, we got this covered. But yeah, but do I go after for the money? No. And I feel like if I date the right person, and we have the same like-mindedness, we can build that money. We can have a business together. Remember what happened with Mr. No Heart? Yeah, he still owes me thousands. He still owes me thousands. Yeah, go catch up on that one. But yeah, it's like my pastor talked about this, and even some of the examples, I remember he said, gentlemen, yeah, when you first start dating a woman, don't spend a lot of money on her. Don't try to just impress her and things like that. And it's like some of us were starting to wonder why he divorced or why they divorced, the marriage and everything like that. But some of the stories were kind of giving hints, like, I mean, we don't know. Well, like, I doubt we ever will know. I mean, none of my business. It's like I more cared because in so many of their sermons, how much they were like, don't get divorced, don't get divorced. You need to fight it through. You need to go to counseling. You need to do this. If it's like, and once you get divorced, don't date. Don't date until all of your kids are out of school. Our pastor didn't follow either one of those rules, so it got me like, that's when I get nosy. When I hear the hypocrisy, when I hear you say, do as I say, not as I do, that's when I get nosy. That's when I'm like, I am digging into some of the sermons from the past, trying to put the pieces together. Because I even remember he was telling the story of how he met her and stuff. Because I think they were laying hands on him and he, got laid out or whatever. And she walked into the room and he could not move. And when he saw her, he was like, God, just let me be able to move so I can introduce myself to her. And so, yeah, that's kind of how he saw her at first sight. But he ended up like taking her shopping on shopping sprees. And he was telling the congregation how that was a mistake and things. And I was just thinking, like, yeah, it's like if you don't want to, like, I'm not saying she's materialistic, but that's how you can kind of end up with a materialistic woman. But at the same time, it's some women aren't materialistic, but a lot of society raises us or tries to train us to be materialistic because, okay, you don't want a lot of these MAGA Republican men, some maybe moderate and Democrat men, they don't want women to work. They want us to just stay at home, right? But then they want to cover everything, right? But then a woman might want to get her hair and nails done or pedicure, mani, all that stuff. She might want to go on a trip once or twice a year. She might want a designer purse or shoes or clothing. But then some of the men start complaining and saying that, oh, now She's a gold digger. Oh, she's a money grabber. Oh, she just wants me for my money. When it's like, hold up, wait a minute. You kind of asked for this. You kind of asked for this. You didn't want her to work. And it's like, if you don't expect her to work, but then this is, if especially if this is what she is used to, it's like, don't punish her. Don't change her life. Okay, it's like, nah, it's like, if she's used to a certain style and you want to date her, and at the same time you told her not to work, that means you have to be prepared for what she's used to. Especially if you don't want her to work, you have to be prepared for that. Okay, so yeah. And so when I hear some of these men complain or talk about, she just wanted the rich dinner, she just wanted this, she just wanted that. Well, that's what some of you guys, like, if you go out with those type of women, that's the type of woman that you're gonna be getting. Like, I mean, come on. I don't know, it's just when the man says, yeah, you can work, blah blah blah, whatever, it gets interesting with that too, because I have seen, like, when the woman makes more, men get jealous or men put them down. When women get amazing, like, positions, oh, you only got that because you're a woman. Only, you just got that because you're black. You only got that DEI. You just got that blah blah blah, whatever excuse. You probably didn't really deserve that, but you just got it out of pity, or maybe you're the only one to apply for that job. And yeah, that was Mr. No Heart and Mr. Lockakey and Noel and Nick and David and Matt and Andrew and, let's see, Kimore, and, well, yeah, the list goes on or whatever. But like, when I was working on my masters, like, because I have two, so it was like just either or, and I was like dating whatever, a lot of these guys would just be like, oh, you you're not gonna finish, you better not finish. It's like, you're trying to make more than me, you're trying to do better than me. What kind of career are you gonna get? You're not gonna get the degree because of your education. You're only gonna get the degree because you're black. You're only gonna get it because you're female. That's the only reason. So it's like, there's no point for you to finish. So if there's no point with me finishing, why do you care so much if I finish? Why do you try to tell me not to finish? Why do you try to stop or halt my future blessings? You're so determined to postpone my goals and dreams and things. Why? Why? Let me know. And I don't know, it's just, especially with what's going on with the Epstein cases, especially what's going on with politics, because for some reason I keep getting conservative men, and oh, you get that. Check out the Patreon. Some of the photos are repeats, but I have them as repeats because, like, sometimes I was planning episode shows and everything like that, and so I want to have them all lined up. But then also sometimes I would email them to myself so that I would be able to, like, figure out and prepare what I want to do and say, and also upload them on the program that I record and everything for the episodes. But then I found out, yeah, with Canva, it's like there wasn't enough room. There's not enough room for all of them, because trying to do the station, create the stationery, and now creating stuff so I can get ready for the website with the candles and the greeting cards and the activity books and some of my children's books and the marketing materials and things like that. Yeah, there's not enough room. There's not enough room. So yeah. But anyway, so I have a lot of the, like, some of the same pictures uploaded, but then my photos on my phone are so full. Yeah. So it's like, but it's like, so I can't see them well, yeah, just long story short, some of them are repeats, but you're going to be getting so many new ones like within the next 24, 48 hours. It's like I had to take a few days because life has been busy, crazy, morning, traveling, and a lot of writing and doodling for the main novel that's going to be done this year. It will be done this year. Yeah. And then also a few of my other creations that I'm working on. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm hoping a really great year once I can at least get the candles, the greeting cards, and the first novel out this year. So, but anyways, yeah, check it out. I have the free level, and then I have the $2 and the $4 level because, especially having a disability, I know how expensive it is. I know all the things you have to go through and pay for and struggles and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to make sure that I have levels that are affordable enough for the disability community so they can come hang out, chat, talk, and, you know, just spill the tea too. So, but okay. I've already told you guys about the guy from the church that I dated for a while, but then I broke up with because we were not compatible. And it just, yeah. But then my mother would not have that. So she was literally trying to force me to go back with him. So yeah, go check out that episode. Check out that episode. Because dating while in the church, it's interesting and complicated. And even dating like a pastor's child. Yeah. I will never ever do that again. Because like some people think, oh, pastors' kids are so great. They're so nice. Like the two or three that I have dated were, in my opinion, some of the worst men I have ever met in my life. And I know that's not all of them. I know that's not all of them. But one of them, he said, like, once we are serious, once we get engaged or married or whatever, I was to not work and I would stay at home. And when he gets off work, gets into the house, sits down on the couch, my job was to serve him a drink or serve him whatever and get on my knees, dot dot dot, you know the rest. I've already said a more fuller version of it, and I talked a lot more about him. But actually, yeah, there's a few more examples with that one too. So yeah, I'm gonna bring them up pretty soon. But I got a lot of politics to talk about too. Whoo, so much. But anyway, is there was another pastor's kid who, like, yeah, it's like a lot of them, they want the conservative woman, but then they talk to more of the liberal progressive types. It's like, 'cause I'm a creative. I am someone who I'm artistic. But it's like, yeah, I can't draw, but with my words and ideas and things like that. But then for some reason, I keep getting conservative men, like, who try to swipe on me, and I'm like, or swipe right, and I'm like, I'm confused. What's going on? I'm not your type. Like, conservative guys, stop that. It's like, look, and especially when I look at the profiles and I see we have nothing in common. Sometimes I swipe right just so I can ask, well, I'm just wondering, what made you swipe right on me? And I was like, we can chat for a little bit because, yeah, I'm really curious. And some of them are like, you're beautiful, you're pretty, and or I want to sleep with you, or in other vulgar ways they said that, or I've never been with a black woman, or just go look at the Patreon. I show a lot of those. Yeah, and I've got so many more of those too. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. Dating within the religious community is interesting. And especially with the mega churches now. Because, yeah, well, I'm still a member at this mega church, but over, like, especially right before COVID, I like there was just some sermons and some of the things that they were saying, and especially the way they speak about the LGBTQ plus community. And after reading and doing research and being more knowledgeable about the LGBTQ community, I'm just like, no, and other things, especially when they talk about women and women in the house or what like married women and things like that. Because another thing that my pastor even preached about is that women, as soon as you get married, have the babies and you don't need to work at first. You can start your career later. And I'm hearing that from a lot of these Republican men now. They're saying some of the same exact things as my pastor and bishop. And it's kind of scary because I know Generation Z is listening intensely. And I think that's one reason why the gap between men and women and understanding of each other is getting wider. Because now a lot of these men want the 50s type of women, and also with Generation X and Y, like women, a lot of the women, we were taught to be liberated, to go for our dreams and goals and opportunities and things like that, while the men, they they weren't taught that the women were going to be going after these things. So it's like when the females and males are being taught different things about the same subject or the same topic, it's like being women, like my, like for example, my a lot of my exes, they hated on me. They wanted, like, they wanted the worst for me. Sometimes I felt like they dated me because they hated me. And it's like if they dated me, they felt like they can push me down and make sure that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish my goals. And part of me is just like, why would you want to do that? Like, why would you want to push anybody down? It's like a lot of us women, we're cheering you on. We're trying to cheer you on, or we're asking and wondering, why do you always just want to play video games all day when you have goals of your own? Or you gave up on them because since you feel like life is supposed to be so easy for you, you are supposed to get everything you wanted because you are a man, especially if you are a colonizing man. Yeah, they give up so easily. My ex dropped out of college and it's like, oh, I dropped out because, yeah, the professors, yeah, they weren't grading my material correctly. They weren't doing a good job. They were marking me off for just the most minor things and blah, blah. Boy, get. Mm. Oh, I dropped out of trade school, or I dropped out of this or that, or I quit this opportunity because, and it's just, and I get it. It's like there's some things that's not meant for everybody. I get that. Once in a while, I get that. But when you keep forcing yourself out of almost every opportunity, especially if it's something that you love and adore, or something that you've dreamed of, or something that has just been in your heart and mind and soul, why are you damaging your own life? What is kind of like you are carjacking yourself. Why would you do that? It's like, you know this car inside and out. You know the engine. You know what's in the glove compartment. Why would you go in the glove compartment and steal and take everything in it and then lock the keys into the car so you can't get back in the first place? Why would you damage it? Oh, and like, why would you put water where the oil goes for the oil change? Like, I mean, or put sugar in the gas tank. That's kind of how I feel with a lot of these men out here. They're damaging themselves. They've given up on themselves because they feel like they are obligated. They feel like they should automatically get whatever and anything because they are male, and a lot of, especially the colonizing white ones, they're upset if they see a woman, especially a woman of color or a black woman. They're like, no, that's supposed to be my spot. I am better than you just because I am who I am. But anyways, I'll do another episode on this later. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handy capable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too.